is during the 12-day war in June of last year that ended with Operation Midnight Hammer. Somewhere between 1/3 and 2/3 of the ballistic missile launchers were taken out, mostly by the Israelis, in a series of strikes that took place during that war. And so while they still have the capability to launch these medium-range ballistic missiles, the threat is still very, very high. But the launching positions certainly were damaged during the war, and it could make it slightly more difficult for them to launch the large barrages that we saw last year, sometimes over 100 missiles at a time. We do know that during that war, they launched around 550 missiles at this country of Israel. The other threat related to missiles is short-range missiles. There are American troops across the region, somewhere between 30 and 40,000 of them. They are normally at bases like the Al Udeid base in Qatar, bases in Kuwait, in Bahrain, where the Fifth Fleet is based. And so you have that concern as well. They also have things like anti-ship missiles and sea-based drones that they could use to try to target U.S. forces that are off the coast of Iran. Then the other question here, John, is the support of regional proxies, namely Hezbollah, their largest proxy in southern Lebanon. And while Hezbollah was significantly degraded over the ongoing war between Israel and Hezbollah over the past 2.5 years, even culminating with the killing of the Hezbollah leader, Hassan Nasrallah, there was an understanding in Israel over the past several months that if a war erupted like we are seeing today, that Hezbollah could get directly involved in the fight, that the Houthis in Yemen could get directly involved in the fight, and possibly even some of the Iranian-backed Iraqi and Syrian Shia militias that are operating and have drones and missiles. And so it's a lot of information, but it's just to give you a sense of the current battlefield across the region. Namely, Hezbollah is the biggest concern outside of the Iranian regime itself for Israel. And I was briefed this week, they still have thousands of rockets and missiles. They are able to hit Israeli population centers. And so the Israelis are not only looking east, they are also looking north, understanding that this could be a multi-front response from the Iranians, again, depending on which targets were hit inside of Iran. The current assessment leading up to this event, we didn't know when it was going to happen, but all of the tea leaves were there. The U.S. military buildup was complete with the arrival of the USS Gerald R. Ford in the eastern Mediterranean. And the assessment is that likely they would go after, first of all, air defense systems that remain inside of Iran. They would go after command and control centers, trying to splinter the people who are ordering any sort of response to these strikes. And they would also go after ballistic missile launching positions, understanding that this would be one of the major weapons that the Iranians have to respond. So a lot to look at here and many moving parts. But again, Israel is on a high state of alert, and they have issued those special instructions to the civilian population here, warning people to stay close to bomb shelters. John?
All right, Trey Yingst, we will check in with you once again. Thank you, Trey. So the news, as you're seeing there from this skyline shot over Tehran, you can see that tower of smoke there. The Israelis and the United States have begun a joint preemptive attack, we are told, against Iran. You can see that one column of smoke, but we presume that there are many, many others in places where television cameras are not broadcasting right now. Because, as I mentioned earlier, there are nuclear facilities all across Iran. There are also U.S. naval assets surrounding Iran. And as Trace was mentioning, F-22 stealth fifth-generation fighter jets that landed in Israel just within the last couple of days, along with a tanker support fleet. So the